Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel that I finally decided to post on. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup challenge. Actually, I'm going to be doing the one dip makeup challenge. I was inspired to do this challenge by James Charles and Nikki Tutorials. And pretty much, if you don't know what it is, I have to do my entire face of makeup with only one dip into each product. I'm kind of nervous to do this, but I think it's going to be fun more than anything. Also, ignore my hair because I need to get it cut. But let's get started. So first, I'm just going to start with moisturizer. I don't really know how to do this in terms of dips, so I just kind of scooped some up on my finger like I normally do. Now that my skin is nice and moisturized, I'm going to move on to eyebrows. Now I use brow pomade for my eyebrows, but it's kind of old and like dried out, so I normally get my brush wet first and then dip into my brow pomade. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Also, if you see me looking up like this, my mirror is right above the camera, so that's what I'm looking at. But I'm interested to see how this will go for me and how different I'm going to do my routine, just so that I can get the most use out of every product. Now normally at this step, I'm moving on to eyeshadow. I would just use the concealer that I carve out my eyebrows with to do my eyeshadow. But I'm not carving out my eyebrows yet. So I'm going to use an eye primer. This is actually one of my old favorites. Now with eyeshadow, it's not one dip per eye. I have to use the one dip for both of my eyes. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. So to start with eyeshadow, just dipping into this shade. That was one dip. So for my eyeshadow look today, I'm going to try to stick to something simple, just like a brown eyeshadow look, just something really simple so I'm not making this too difficult on myself. Next, I'm just dipping into this color right here. My next color is this one right here. Now what's really interesting to me, or what's going to be really interesting for me during this challenge, is that palette that I just dipped into is a new palette that I just got. So I'm not very familiar with the colors in it or which ones are more pigmented than others. I'm gonna go with this one right here. Okay, next is this dark brown right next to it. Since these looks aren't very even, I just dipped into a different brown in the palette. And I'm only going to put it on this side to try to even them out since I can't dip back into that other color. And now I'm going to dip into, with my finger actually, this plummy purple magenta kind of color. Also going to dip into this shade next to it. It's like the same color but matte, and just kind of pat it on the outside of my eye. Now we're done with that and I'm going to move on to primer. I'm just gonna do a little, that's a bubble, hold on. Just a little drop of it on my finger and just use that to do my whole face. I just got this Rare Beauty concealer. If you didn't know, this is Selena Gomez's makeup brand. It's a little applicator. I can move my light. And how James Charles and Nikki Tutorials did their concealer in their video is they just got one dip into the tube, like this, and they got all of that to put on their face. Now, I normally do my setting powder two different ways. I first start by just taking a damp beauty blender, dipping it in the powder, and setting right under my eyes. But that's not what I'm doing with this, since I can only have one dip. Next, I'm moving on to bronzer. I can't really show, but ooh, that is a lot of bronzer. I don't want to tap a lot of it off since I only get one dip, but I definitely want to tap some of it off because that is a lot. I'm now gonna dip into a little bit of this blush right here. If anything, I think I put on a little too much, but I still gotta blend it out, so I guess we'll see. I think the blush is sticking to my face better than I expected since it wasn't completely set. My concealer wasn't completely set, but that is blush complete. Next up, and actually one of the last steps, we're getting close to the end, I'm going to dip into this purple right here. I'm only supposed to have one dip, but I'm mixing two colors, so I kind of have to have two dips. I'm also going to dip into that one too. I'm mixing those together and putting that under my eyes. And since I have a little bit extra on the brush, I'm just going to kind of blend it up into the actual shadow. And now since we're moving on to mascara, I'm going to comb my eyelashes off camera and I'll be right back. I think this is going to be one of the worst ones for me because I love mascara. So I have one dip to use on both of my eyes. Now, I focused that one dip of mascara on my top lashes because one thing that I love doing is using a completely different mascara on my bottom lashes. For some reason, I just really like how this mascara looks on my bottom lashes. So now that I have mascara on my top and bottom lashes, I'm moving on to eyeliner. Now I'm only doing eyeliner in my waterline, and I use a pencil liner, so I can't really have one dip of pencil liner, so I'm just gonna put this on and I'll be right back. Alright, my eyeliner is done, and one of my final steps is highlighter. I absolutely love highlighter, so while I'm talking, I'm just gonna get as much on this brush as I can. Alright, I finished my highlighter, and I already took one dip into this purple shimmer shadow that I'm going to put right in my inner corner here. Alright, and now that we're done with that, I'm going to also dip into this shade right here in my Morphe palette and just tap a little bit of that on top of the purple and blend it in. Alright, now I have my purple pop of color in my inner corners, and now my final step is going to be lip gloss. Now this, obviously, one dip right here. Okay, and on that note, I am done with my makeup. I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. I didn't expect it to be that hard, honestly, especially seeing as I don't wear foundation. And this concealer doe foot holds so much product, so that definitely was not difficult for me. I think the hardest part was most definitely the eyeshadow. It doesn't look that bad from far away, but I didn't do the close-up yet, so it definitely looks better from far away. But either way, I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. And if you have any other makeup challenges or video recommendations or anything just in general that you would like to see on this channel, DM me on my makeup Instagram account. I'll put the tag somewhere on the screen so you can go follow me there if you're not already. And I post all of the looks that I do on there, so definitely if this is something that you're interested in, seeing me do makeup, go follow that for sure. I hope you enjoyed watching. I definitely enjoyed doing it, and I'm gonna put some close-ups real quick at the end. Thanks for watching!